I don't know if it would pick up now because I'm check. Well, it's fighting a little bit because I'm recording this session for the guy that's not here, but that's the capability of this. But this will be my projector from heretofore. Now, why would you do that? Why would I do this instead of put it up here? So I've been here for 15 years, and when we got the computers, that was the end of the lectures, the end of teaching. So at least now you can humor me. When you're looking at your screen, I feel like you're watching what I'm doing. Some of you won't be, and that's fine, but at least it humors me. When I had it up here, and I thought I was being funny, and you weren't looking at me, you were looking at the screen, and I think like you weren't paying attention. So this is more for me than you, but if you want to see what's going on, it's going to be there. And that you see how long it takes to boot up. So that's why I say get in here, get that booted up, those types of things. You bookmarked on this. Right now I have it set to the whole screen, and I'm going to change it here momentarily and hope that you see the change. Let me explain a couple things here first before I do that. On the left here now, under my picture, you'll see that I can see that there's 26 of us in here. That's including myself. So 25 of you are in there. So that's what I know how many are in the class, and so I will continually know when everybody's in and can see. There's a place here where you can raise your hand, stuff like that. If I ask for different things, there's a chat feature here where I may ask you to respond. Things like that. So there's some features here we'll use periodically throughout the semester. Okay. Is anybody not see my screen right now? Besides those who don't have computers, yeah. Okay, so everybody can see, right? We're good? Okay. I want to shrink this down a little bit. You can see my screen again now, correct? Okay. This is the wiki site that I sent you, and week by week it will be over here. I set the book, and I was just telling these guys, yes, you will need the book. No, I would not pay much money for it. It's 4 years old, almost 5 years old. There's got to be a new edition on the horizon soon. I'd go on Google and see how cheap you can get it. And even if you have to return one here, but I would certainly go that route to see. There's the Course Smart. You'll see in my lectures is the online book, and that you'll see that in the lectures. But that too has gotten way more expensive than the used books. There's enough of these used ones around. You should be able to do pretty well on it. Just at the bottom there, most students are interested in that. There'll be 13 chapter outlines that you'll submit. Probably, I say 25. That's not true. Let me fix that. There'll be at least. Like 13 or so web projects. So each week there'll be a lecture that you'll submit the note outline from the lecture. Each week there'll be some kind of a project, web project that you do together. And then each week there'll be a test over the chapter from the week before, which means, of course, it'll be 2 weeks before you have that. And then there'll be a couple other things that you have to do. One of the things that you have to do in this class, you have to do a field experience. You have to observe in a classroom. And I'll talk about that more at a later time. But I just wanted those things on the front page, so you had that Blackboard Collaborate, those things. And again, the best way to communicate with me is campus email. Like a lot of you, I have a smartphone. I can get the Gmails. Any of those, you can text me. If you text me, make sure you let me know who you are. If your number comes up and it's not in my contacts on that, going, gee, who is this? I already have your contact you just gave me, but your phone number isn't in there. If your phone number was in there, then I'd still know who you are. And yes, if you send me one, I'd probably pop your phone number into your contacts. So do that. But if and the reason I'm telling you is, if you're not going to be here for whatever reason, please let me know, so I'm not wondering what happened to you. I mean, it's a courtesy that you would extend to an employer or something, so you do the same here. And you can do that with a text or a Gmail or a campus email, or just say, hey, the car won't start and I'm not going to make it today. Now, is there some pain for that? Yes. Yes. Every day, there's points every day. There's 5 points per week just for showing up those 2 days and doing the web project. And what I call those are the clapping for credit points. Show up and do what I ask, and you get those points. Okay? But if you're not here, you don't get them. Unless you're on a school-sponsored trip playing football or basketball or baseball or track that some reason the university takes you away, those aren't made up. I know that seems harsh, but why that's harsh is every semester where I learned to do this is that students would get A's in the class that skipped the class. I had one time where a student skipped like 8 class periods and still got an A in the class, and a student that was never missed a class got a C and came up here and tore me to smithereens. And I decided, that ain't even going to happen to me again. Okay, so you get 5 points for coming both days and doing the project. 5 points, no questions asked. Well, I mean, if you really horse up the project, I might chew you out or something, but pretty understanding with that. Okay, is that fair? So if you're not here, if you're sick, or if there's weather, or the car, or something like that, that's fine. Just don't come and ask me if you can make it up, because the answer is no. Okay? And you'll never miss those points as long as you attend a business in the class. Now, if you're cutting a lot, and of course, you know what happens when you cut class, you don't do as well as you want on the tests, and you're mad at me about it, and those types of things, then it's a problem. I had a couple of people failed last semester, and both of them did not attend regularly whatsoever. Everybody else passed easily. So that's why I tried to set it up with the points here. The note outline and the web project are not hard to get those points. Okay, the tests are a little harder. And even the tests sometimes, what I do each time is I analyze the test, as most professors do. D2L allows that I can look at every single question and analyze how the class did. So if there's one question that only 30% of the class got it right, chances are something's wrong with the question. There's 3 inputs to tests. 2 of them I own. The 3 inputs to taking tests are how was the material, how effectively was the material taught? Number 2, how effectively was the material studied by the students? And number 3, how well was the test written to match what was studied and what was taught? And 2 of those 3 I own. Yeah, I could dump it on you and say you didn't study, and there'll be a couple of those I will. I'll say you should have known this. But for the most part, if more than half of you got a question wrong, I would really consider throwing that question out. Fair? Yeah. Because sometimes the 2 I own are clunkers. They do stink sometimes. Okay? So I own those. And the beauty of this software is it's easy to analyze. I used to do it all by hand. When I first was here, before we had software management stuff, I analyzed every test I gave by hand. I kept track of how many students got each question wrong. And then again, if there was something wrong, I threw it. Let me take you here. And this is where it'll be on this left side here, right where I came. Every week it'll be marked here for you. So this is obviously the 14th to the 16th. So when I click on here, this is what I want to talk about today. And then I'll put up next week's on Wednesday. Every Wednesday. Now, put this to memory right now also for me. Every day from heretofore, without exception, there'll be something due when I see you at 1 o'clock on Monday and Wednesday. Without exception. Every time we get together, something will be due. So you could say I forgot the first couple of weeks, but by the time we get to the 3rd week, no. And most days it'll be more than one thing. Okay? So, yes, you'll need your computer booted up and ready to go at 1 o'clock, and you need to have your assignments done. And unfortunately for you, and sometimes unfortunately for me, everything is time-stamped. You know what that means? I can tell exactly when you submitted everything. I can tell exactly when you worked on it. And so the people that get the maddest at me are the ones that are working on this between 12:15 and 1 o'clock. You don't want to be doing these assignments between 12:15 and 1 o'clock before class because it becomes blatantly obvious. And not only that, they're time-stamped. I can see when you did it. It stamps. When you submit a test, it stamps. When you submit the notes, it stamps. When you finish your online project, it stamps the time. Dang, Google is kind of notorious that way too. Just like the D2L, okay? So there will be times. You're a student. I was a student at one time. There will be times where you do run out of time and you are doing it between 12:15 and 1, but please try and limit those. You'll just enjoy the class more. Now, last semester, time after time, I saw students sitting here racing through it, or come in 5 minutes late, and I'd look down, they had just submitted that stuff. I mean, you can do it. It's just you're not going to. This isn't going to go the way you want it to go if you're functioning that way. And to be honest with you, I functioned that way as an undergrad 30-some years ago. But don't let that be you. And if it is an issue with you, try and limit the amount of times that happens. Let me jump back here. One thing I want to show too, the grade breakdown here. You got to hit 94 to be the A, and then anything 86 and above to 93 was the B, then a C, and of course, in the College of Ed, you've got to have at least a C. So 77 and down is the D, and so not only you don't want to fail, you don't even want to get a D in this class. And in D2L, and that's a downside, I complain about this, but my grades are updated. Usually Tuesday's my grading day. So when you'll submit your notes on Monday, I'll try and get them graded before I see you on Tuesday. But Tuesday's my grading day, and you'll always know your grades to the moment. And that's, again, that D2L. When I hit enter, it tells you exactly not what you got on that, but what your grade is currently in the class. The detriment to that, why I'm whining about that is sometimes that's to my detriment on the course evaluations. Like I'd get 3 or 4 students that really knock me on the class. I can generally correlate those to those got the poorest grades in the class. And part of that is because you always know exactly what your grade is in the class the whole semester. So those of you that need things signed for your teams and stuff, you put the grade on. You'll know it. I have it set up so that when I hit enter, you know the current grade. Every time there's a test, when you submit the test, it'll show you what the current grade is. Now in that assignment, but for the whole semester. But you know how to do that, right? I mean, your classes all have that? Yeah, so that's not new. But that's sometimes to a detriment for me is that you want to hold me accountable for that. So back on this page, the bookmark, I told you how to do that. And to bookmark for me, how I do it, I use Chrome all the time, and I'm not quite sure why, but I do. If I just simply right mouse and tell it add to page, it gives me a screen like that. Can you see that? I dump all mine for this in my wikis here, but you want it on the bar. You don't want to have to open it. So if you say it's on the bar, it gives you this up here. So it's more readily available to you. And if there's stuff on here like, you see this one? Web Advisor? Now if you don't want that, you right mouse it and tell it to delete it, and that one's gone. So I mean, you may want to organize that toolbar, but I would, if I were you, on that toolbar, I'd put the things you're going to use the most readily every day. Yes, I have Facebook right here. It's this little FB over here. Okay, so I don't want to have to search for that link every time I want it. Neither do you. Same with my wiki here. Every time you want it, you don't want to have to go digging for it. You want it right there on that toolbar. Okay, so the Google account. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's my Gmails. And I go to my contacts and show you what it looks like. This is you, and I keep them over here on the left-hand side. All the classes I've had over the years, they keep grouping up here. And so here's you guys, and you see your names and your Gmails there, and I say that it's just integrated with all the things I'm going to do, and that's why I use it that way. And some of you, where's Allie? Allie, this is what you can do too. Allie picks up her account so her picture comes up with it. That helps me too to know who Allie is. Don't have to do that, but you may want to do that. I'm going to have you do that in a couple other places. Okay? So that's how I use that. All right? And I would say I got to use the Gmail. The Gmail comes into my phone too, so I would say I use the Gmail as much as anything. One of the things I learned with the Gmail, one thing, of course, it's universal. I mean, no matter where you go, what you do, you've got it. But it keeps a lot of the crap off my campus account that used to go through that. Let me go back here and say attendance. And I talked a little bit about attendance already, about coming regularly. And here's where you'll get your attendance. I'm going to send you the attendance sheet right now for you to mark your attendance. It's under my Google Drive like this. It's this one here. It's called Classmates. Did it catch up? Can you see my screen again? Sometimes if I flip too fast, it takes a while to load, right? When it really happens is PowerPoint sometimes are a little slow like that. But I'll try and remember to slow down. And please tell me if it's taken a while to load. By now it's fully loaded again, right? Yeah, but the only time it's really an issue is when I use the flip through slides. But this one says classmates, and it's just looks like this. That's not the one I want. It's this one. It's called attendance 13, all right? And it's a spreadsheet like this. Can you see that okay? Every time before class, you will come in here and you will put your initials right here next to your name. And that's how I'll log your attendance. Now, I did have somebody put their friend's name in there once. And I don't always catch it, but sometimes when I do, and if I do catch it that you're putting somebody else's in there, I don't know what will happen. It won't be good. It's kind of like any of the cheating and any of the stuff that goes on. You get away with it a long time, but when you get caught, it's embarrassing for you and for me. Okay, so don't do that. Don't do that. Let people put their own in there. And how you're going to get this, and this is how Google is going to work for us the whole semester, is this. I'm going to share this with you. Are you familiar with Google Documents at all? You had to have some exposure to this, right? I'm going to share a link with you that'll come in your Gmail that'll allow you to open to this page. And I will know exactly when you open it because it'll tell me that you're on this page. And I literally, in real time, will see you put your name, your initials in there. I will watch as you do that. And then I'll take that column away. When you come back on Wednesday, that column will be gone, and the first one you'll see will be the 16th. And then I have one all the way across. And the yellows are your favorite days. Okay? The two together are spring break, but otherwise I tried to find all the classes we'll have off. And you won't have stuff due over spring break, but you'll have stuff due on Monday when we come back from spring break. And so you'll have time from Wednesday to Friday and stuff, but it'll be like a regular week, like that week never happens. And even on the 21st, we're not going to be here, but you'll have some things you have to have ready when you come back on Wednesday, the 23rd. Okay, here's how I'm going to share. Watch your screen. I want you to see how this is done, because I guarantee you'll be using stuff like this in your teaching in the future. Oh yeah, I'm going to stretch you on a number of fronts this semester in technology. And this is the first. Under here, under share, it brings this up. Can you see that? Does that show up on your screen? Okay, I'll wait for a second until it gets to yours. Now here are my choices. Here, right now, it's set at private only. So in other words, nobody can get at this unless they have this link, and then I've said they could get at this, because I own this particular one. All right? And I could say anyone with the link, the middle, or I could say public. And some things I do is public, meaning anybody that's on a search engine can find it and deal with it and do something to it. But here it's only private, and it's you that I've said could do it. Okay? And so that's what we're going to do. And so now to share it, I'm going to do this down here. You can't see this, so I'll read to you what it says. It says, the editors will be allowed to add people and change them with permission, and I don't want that to happen. I'm the only one that can say who can change this. So I'm going to add your names here, and when I click on this box, it says I can choose my contacts. Can you see where I'm at? Okay, I'm going to click on that choose my contacts, and up here under most contacted, I'm going to pull it down to this group that I have named right here, EDFN338 13 Spring Campus. And there's your name. And then I say all of you, and you get a check mark next to you. Now what I often do is, if somebody's not here, on this here you'll have, and I won't change this share here. This will stay the whole semester. But some of the other assignments, for example, assignment for the week, if you're not here, I'm not even going to send it to you. Okay? Or I'm going to unsend it once I discover you're not here. All right, so I'm done with that. And right now, two things are going to happen. When I send this, it's going to show up in your Gmail. But there's one more thing I want you to see that'll help you. Don't leave yet. Don't leave me here, because I want to show you this before you go to your Gmail. You have this also up here on your toolbar of your email, you should have one that says Drive. When you click on Drive, anything I've shared with you should be in that drive. And it'll have the name I shared with you. So time by time, when I share stuff, it'll come with a little notice in Gmail says it's here, but you can also find it in the Google Drive. And the Google Drive should be on that Google toolbar. Now go leave my screen, and go and record your attendance on that thing I just shared with you. And just like before, there's 17 of you have now opened it. I mean, I'm watching, and you'll see now up in the right-hand corner, you can see that same number. And you see all those colors up in the right-hand corner of that document? Yes, that's how it is. If you click on that, you'll see who's all in here right now writing on this thing. And let me caution this too. When you do this, after you put your initials, hit the return so it gets off of that. I've had a little trouble in the past where I can't see that you've done it, and you feel like you have. The gray ones looks like they haven't hit the return yet if they're gray. It saves automatically. Yeah, you can just close it or whatever. Yes, you can. Yep. And I'm going to meet you back in a second on the Blackboard. But I just want to see more of these come in. There's still a bunch missing. So I say make sure you hit the return after you've done it. Enter. Yeah. Yes. It didn't come or what?
I just got it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes it is a little lag like that, and I think it's a fast. In fact, I'm trying to blast that many at once, so sometimes it is a little bit slower. You may have to. It should come without refreshing, but sometimes refreshing encourages it to pop in also. Thanks. There you go. Did you hit your return? Your enter? There. Yeah, see, sometimes it doesn't show up for me until you do that. It looks like a dark box. As soon as you hit that, I can see it. All right. Yep. So there, we're about there. Where's Jay? Hit your return, Jay. It's dark here yet. Enter. Hit the enter. I'm sorry. 100 years ago, we called it return. Now we call it enter. Okay. Yep. I see two that are blank. A Cherie. What, it won't go or what? What's it doing or not doing? Do I have you in the contacts? Well, I can back up here and I can look. Did you get anything I've sent? Did you get the first one? You got the link to the wiki? But you didn't get that Gmail either? Why didn't you say something? Yeah, not a mind reader. I'm going to guess I don't have you. I sent email this morning to your campus Gmail account saying who I had and didn't have. Yeah, I don't have a Gmail from you. Did you get a campus email from me this morning? I sent a campus email to everybody that didn't have them this morning, and your name was one of them. But you thought you set one up and sent it to me? So you guys didn't get them either? Where's Aaron Gronwald? You didn't get this either? You didn't get anything I've sent you? Well, how long are you going to sit there and just let this go by?
Figured it out.
You didn't, because I couldn't send it to you until you had it. Where's Matt? Matt. You didn't get any of the Gmails, or any of the emails I sent this morning? I sent campus ones at least 3 times now. If you got any emails from me at all.
I got one.
I sent one this morning. Everybody didn't have accounts, so I sent them this morning. Check your campus emails. You check those? You guys can't do that. You got to be on more on it than that. There, you got these now too. Make sure you know where they're at too, and so you can find them every day when class starts, and log your attendance in there. How we doing, Miss Cherie? No campus emails or anything? Maybe I have the wrong one in my account. Tell me what your username is for your campus email. All right. All right. Okay. Well, we'll put that down now. Let's go back. Come back to the. Come back to your Blackboard so you can see. So field experience, I'm not going to talk about today. I want to spend some time on that in the future. And as far as, like I was saying, the Monday, Wednesday schedule, that there will always be something due. And I can only urge you not to do it 15 minutes before the class starts. And now I want to get into the 3 things that you have to have ready for me when I see you on Wednesday. 3 different things. The first is the classmate assignments, and that is another document that looks like this. Stay where you're at. I'll show you this one first. It looks like this, and everybody has a slide with their name on it that will that I'll ask you to introduce yourself. And I can put up a sample here. That's snow. I'm just to let you know what it can look like. I got those off the internet someplace. I've never really seen that. I was born in 1960, and in the winter of 68, 69, we had snow like that as a kid. And to the point where some of the gravel roads in the country, they got so full they couldn't open them because the snow was so high on the sides of the road, the snowplow couldn't get through them. So then they hired big caterpillars to come and just push all the snow back into the fields. And what it did, of course, is it just demolished the fences. But I can remember my dad would pull up with the corners got so narrow that you would stop the truck and get out and go in the intersection and look because you couldn't see if anybody was coming because the snow was so high. And we had snow like that went up to our roof. They literally could walk on the snowbank up on our roof. And we haven't seen anything like that, and I hope we never had that because that spring we had some of the more severe flooding ever in this area because that snow had to go someplace. But this is what I want you to do is have a little introduction for yourself, and then you have to make at least 2 links on there where you link it to something that's meaningful to you. And this linkage is real similar to how you would link anything else. Right? And then I've assigned each of you a slide that's blank right now. Now, the thing I want to talk about more is the picture. You chosen people to be in this class, need to take a picture of yourself with your UCAM. This isn't a picture of you from your wedding or from your prom. This isn't a picture from graduation. This is a nice headshot that you take with this computer or whichever one's in front of you. And if you have a Mac, you use the Mac. And that's what's on there, because if I get those nice family photos and weddings and proms and stuff, I can't really see you. And the reason I say I do these is I keep these, because what's going to happen, you get to be my age, 10 years from now, I'm going to be supervising a student teacher, and you're going to be in that school, and I'm going to know you were in this class in the spring of 13, and I'm not going to remember your name. So then I run home, and I get this slide off the spring of 13, and I find you, and I go, that's who that is. And, of course, this will help me get to know you by putting your face with your bio for the course and for the semester. You will remember me and my name. I will remember you, but not your name. And it may not even take till 10 years by next fall. I may not be able to put the name on you, but I will remember that you were in this class. So that's my crutch here. And then, of course, you all can see each other. And a lot of you know each other. I know that. But I don't know you. And then I will do some of this. So do you know are you familiar with this? Do you know how to use the UCAM? I better give a quick thing on that, because I know I've had trouble with people not knowing how to do that. Okay, and this, all I did is I changed it. I was just sharing my browser. Now I'm sharing the whole desktop again, so it looks a little different to you. But I'm going to come over here under my programs, and most of yours will be the same as this if you've got a PC. But this is under, I'm going to go all programs, has a little different name. This one is under CyberLink UCAM. And if you don't have that, if you don't have the CyberLink UCAM, they can add it for you, because I've had students in this class that literally do not have that loaded on theirs. And Computing Services will load it for you if you tell them that you need it for this class, because they're used to me and I'm kind of crabby, and they usually do what I ask them to do over there. So I got this crabby professor says, I need this, can you load this? And they do. Takes a little while to load. Oh, it doesn't want to do this because of this. So it may not let me do it. I'll try loading it one more time, but it's a little crabby because I am using it over there. No. It's not going to let me do it. But what you do on the far left there, it's a thing called a snapshot. This isn't capture. Capture is video. You can do that. But for here, I want a snapshot. So when you take a snapshot, it not only dumps it down here, but it dumps it in a folder in your documents, in my documents. Mine's called Documents. There's a folder called UCAM. And that's where your picture will be that you snap for this. And then you import that into your slide and put a nice little bio. Don't do it now, because I got a few more things and we're running out of time. That's when I see you on Wednesday, you'll have your bio there and you'll have your nice picture in there. And make sure it's not too dark. I get caught in this sometimes. I'm in too dark a place. Or the other thing where I work at home, there's light out here and dark here, so it adjusts for that light, and so it's dark anyway. So if it doesn't turn out perfect the first time, and if you have to fix yourself a little or something, do that, because you remember, I'll be looking at this a long time. So if you want to take the hat off or hat on, I mean, however you want it to look for, that's the thing with digital pictures. The other ones fade over time. These digital ones will be a long time. So if you need to fix yourself a little, that's okay. Fix yourself before you do it. All right, let me go back here and say there's a pretest. In the D2L, there's a pretest set up for you. And this is a quick thing. It's just a baseline. It's just to kind of let me know where you're starting from. It's not graded or anything. The only thing I'm going to grade is whether you do it or not. Okay? And so you see some things come up here. This, where is my pre-test? It should be on there. Okay, let me make sure I'm on the right one here. There it is. Okay, so here's your pretest due. So if you click on that, it's 20 questions, and you have, I think, 15 minutes to do it. So don't goggle a lot of time. Just take the test. Okay, and the only thing I'm going to mark for you when I see you is, did you take it? Because after 1 o'clock, it shuts off. After 1 o'clock, it's done. All right. And that's the same way with the slides and stuff. At 1 o'clock, I pop it up, and it doesn't populate any more than that. Okay, and then the third thing that I'm going to ask you to do is watch this movie, Waiting for Superman. And yes, it's a full-length movie. It's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And I'd like to discuss that some on Wednesday, so please find a time and place where you can watch Waiting for Superman. It's a movie about teachers and the state of teaching in our country. And it was in theaters here several years ago. Not much pushback on it, but we'll push back on it a little bit. But it talks about the teaching profession. It's kind of a basis of what we can study for the semester. So you have 3 things, 3 separate things to have ready for me on Wednesday. Are there any questions? Anything else I can answer for you?
Have you sent that?
Sent what?
The classmate thing?
I have not. Thank you for reminding me. The question was, have I sent the classmate thing? I have not. I'm going to do that right now. I go back to my drive. It's called Classmates here. And remember, I go up here to share, and now I have 27 people in there. And I come down here. I'm going to leave it as this. I'm going to click on, I want this. I click in here. Choose from my contacts. I'm going to choose this class, which is EDFN338 Spring. I'm going to say you all get it. I'm done. And I save and send. Oh, it doesn't want, it wants this. COLOGIS. And now in your Gmail or your Google Drive, that should show up. Thanks for asking that. Is there anything else? This is that awkward pause that I'll use periodically through the semester. When I ask for questions, I'll go to that awkward silence, and it's okay if it's silent here, but if you need to ask something, make sure you do. Be bold, be brave. You're the teachers of the future. You're the ones that are going to teach my kids. One thing that I'm different than some of the people in the hall here, I have kids in school. I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, and we have classroom management issues. We have school issues, all of which I'll whine. You'll find one thing I do a lot this semester is whine. I'm whining all the time about how they're handled, they're treated unfairly, and you'll do what you want with it. Before you go, I got to give you the first one. This is the first of many of my whines. Jackson is 12. He's a hunter and a fisher. He's a 6th grader, and he's had some problems.